I promised I'd do a short video on how to change the handle shape. So what we've got here is the Sports Blue. This bat has a particularly skinny round handle. What I'm actually going to do here is I'm going to use some of this rigid strapping tape or medical tape. So this is the rigid one, not the one that flexes. And I've taken lengths of it and basically cut and pulled them into strips. So there's different thicknesses of strips here, going from thick to really thin. And what I'm basically going to do is I'm going to build up a little ridge here on the handle for the bottom hand. So I could actually do this in a longer strip and go all the way, but I'm just going to do this for the bottom hand. Just take any old strip and you'll be looking at the centre of your splice as your reference point for where is the middle. So I'm just going to build it up through there. I've taken it a little bit down because what I'm going to do at the end of this is I'm actually going to bind all the way through, because I really want to get this a bit thicker. But for the most part we just keep adding extra strips of binding onto that and building that ridge up. And as I build this up I might come up to the side a bit just to get a little bit of shape on it, and I'm feeling it just to see if it's actually how I want the shape to be. Once you actually put your grip back on after the strapping, this rigid strapping actually packs down really well, so it becomes quite stiff and moulds to the shape of your hand. So if I offset these slightly I get more of a renounced ridge on the top. If I want that to be semi-oval or more oval on both sides, I can build it up on the front as well. And as long as you can sort of feel that under the hand, that might take away a little bit of your bottom hand dominance or just make the bat feel a little bit different. So I'll pause for a second and I'll build up both sides and get it how I want it. Okay, so what I've done now is basically put a little bit more semi-oval on this side here on the front side, and it's much more of a ridge on the top there and a little bit of a build up there. So it feels nicer in my hand and it's a lot thicker, and once the grip goes on that will make it even thicker, whereas the bottom I haven't touched. So it's round still, and it's still not interfering with where I'll hold that top hand. And this is something that has been, they've done this sort of thing in Test cricket for years to change handle shapes. It's not a big deal. So what I'm going to do now is basically wrap the binding up with the strapping tape. So starting from the top, and then I get a little bit of angle and I work my way down. About halfway, that will mould in, and as you start to work your way through you'll see the little ridge, and just follow that ridge all the way down. If you get any little folds in it, bring it back, get those out. Very much like wrapping a tennis racket grip on, which I happen to have some of those because I tried that just for the sake of trying to see what that would be like. Aero actually had something like a tennis racket grip, and I think Leica had them too. But they've really got to be adhesive all the way through. So now I've got to that ridge part, and what I'll do is just wrap that around a second time and build that up a little bit so that I've got more of a I don't want to change the shape of it, but I just want to take a bit of that ridge out. And now I'll just keep going all the way to the bottom. Just bring this around here, and I've nearly finished. So that's shaped the way I want it. Now the other thing that is a little bit different with the Gray-Nicolls bats that they do the strapping on is they actually, even though they do the strapping, they actually bind the bottom of the bat here. So there's always binding at this area here, which is the part where it's going to fail potentially as the shoulders come loose from the handle. But if the handle is all perfectly fitted, then you shouldn't have any problems. But these days, with the way they take weight out of shoulders and things like that, you get splitting through here or splitting up through this point in the bat down backwards if the handle's been put in too far. So there you go. That's a little thing on using rigid strapping tape to change your handle shape. Thanks everybody.